We can't access what?
This is recording,
What did it say? What? Welcome back to Lidat. I'm Sam, not Dr. Seuss with the cat in the hat. Unfortunately for USA, we weren't good at the bat, and we lost to Japan. But we dropped a bomb on their ass.
We are lost.
Welcome back to Lidat. If you like those bars, if I was a poet and you didn't even know it, you gotta like and subscribe. Because I was super hot fire, and I'm not even a rapper.
You know what we gotta
Look
look
my
at?
eyes.
You know
I'm
what
not
we
a
gotta
rapper,
look at?
and I did that. Okay.
Well, you know,
I should be
before
famous.
you become famous, how about you show me your wrists real quick? Can I see your wrists? Huh. No, that's what I hate you, man.
Hold on. I'm gonna act super. Oh shit, my whole headphone flow is going crazy. But I'm acting a little crazy right now because I think it's deserved. Okay, I gotta show off a bit of my ego. Okay,
How are you doing?
I gotta make sure this ego comes across because you know what was told to me today after work. I was cornered. I was cornered, dude,
Mm-hmm.
and I was told a couple things. Some of them was stupid as shit. Like I was lonely. I'm like, what the fuck?
Someone said that you were lonely.
Lonely? And then another thing I was told, they were trying to whatever. That's not the super important thing. The super important thing, next little bit. The super important thing was I was told, strangely enough, by a couple of individuals who will remain nameless, but they quote Andrew Tate often, that I, Sam, was egotistical. And I was like, huh? Now, on their side, to give them credence to their argument, this isn't the first time I've been called egotistical. You know?
Okay, tell me.
It's not the first time I've been called egotistical, right? All right. Now a little more serious, Jose. Do you think?
No, I don't think
that I'm
ever come off as egotistical to me. Like, okay, let's for the audience. Like, what's the definition of ego or egotistical?
And this is I don't even know it because I was telling them, like, what do you guys even mean? And when I tried to like land them on a definition, it kind of just basically what they came down to is that you essentially that I always want to be right about a situation. And I was like, I don't know if that's true, but maybe it's because I want to be right about that. Who knows?
Now you made their point.
The world may never know. Hey, dude, that's what I'm saying, though. And I was like, dude, work was done an hour and 42 minutes ago. I was there for like an hour having this intervention. I was cornered in the fucking driveway. In the driveway, trying to go home.
This is what the definition of egotistical is, according to Google. Okay, it says excessively conceited or absorbed in oneself, self-centered. He's selfish, egotistical, and arrogant.
Well, Jose, can't you not see from me wearing the sweater that I had to get an extra large
because you're self-centered? I don't know. I think they use
to hide all these fucking.
I think they used the wrong word. I guess egotistical. It doesn't fit.
You know what it is? They're both a pair of fat asses. They can't see a brown man.
I mean,
win.
I guess if you.
That's what
it
is.
If you go by egotistical, the only thing I can think of is like if you go to the gym, I guess you do it for yourself. But is that a bad thing? Like, is that a bad thing to be like? Okay, like I'm related to another conversation we had a long time ago. We were reviewing I don't know if you remember, we were reviewing the podcast that I went to in person with the guys. And we were reviewing a guy named Nick Walker, who was extremely confident. Now, he's extremely confident to the point that they accuse him of being overconfident, arrogant, and egotistical. He has a big, massive ego. And I was thinking about it. I'm like, oh, well, I mean, he's confident, but at the very beginning, everyone was doubting him until he started proving himself. But I'm like, well, isn't it every successful person? Like, I'm pretty sure every successful person is messed up in a way. Like, I don't think, you know what I mean? Like, they have a massive ego. They're self-centered. Like, you know where I'm going at?
But okay. So here was really the weird thing about it. Let me get a little closer because I want to sound sexy because I'm obsessed with hearing my own voice.
You're not gonna let it go. I could have let it go.
Dude, so it was, I don't know, because first he called me lonely, right? So imagine calling an egotistical person lonely.
But why he called you lonely?
I don't even want to talk about this.
But I just don't know the correlation. Why when he went from egotistical to lonely?
No, it went from lonely to egotistical.
Is it because you miss me?
And I was like, okay.
You miss me.
Yeah, dude. Maybe they're right, bro. Maybe they was correct in cornering me and telling me that I'm lonely and egotistical. Dude, but I want you to understand the guy I'm talking about, right? What they said was because so this goes to something about jealousy, because I believe that Veronica, my girlfriend, spoke to. What the fuck is that? How unprofessional of you! Look at this guy just playing videos on his phone when we're trying to grow a brand.
Keep going. I need something to distract myself,
dude.
Can you go? No.
Am I not enough for you, bro?
I'm self-centered. So it's about myself right now, and I gotta play my game.
All right. So, like I was saying,
that your girl.
Fuck, I lost my train of thought. Okay, so my girlfriend had talked to one of the guys and his girlfriend in regards to the fact that I don't get jealous often. Right, and that she wished that I was jealous a bit more than I come across as. And they were telling me one of these days while I was driving in the parking lot or whatever that I should pretend to be jealous to make my girlfriend more happier. And my response to them was, what kind of toxic bullshit are you guys fucking smoking? Okay. Like, I don't want whatever weed you guys smoke, you guys keep it to yourselves because I don't want any of it. I don't. That toxic stuff, I don't want none of it for myself. Leave it over there. Okay. You guys can have that. So, with that being said, now they kind of brought up the point where, I imagine that's kind of where, because he didn't mention everything that was on inside of his head on why, like one individual, but the other guy that I know even less, he really, really, really wanted me to know that I come across as egotistical. And I was like,
but how?
And then they just kept saying, like, I don't know, dude, you just walk around and just be yourself. Okay, so firstly, because I really don't want to make this about me, right? What would you define as egotistical, and what would you define as confidence? And what would you say is because there's always like a silver lining between the two. You're always one step away from the other. And my question to you is, what do you think? What would you consider egotistical? What would you consider confidence? And how would you distinguish between the two if you were to meet an individual out in public?
I'm still stuck in how the hell they went from, because that word egotistical, like, it doesn't add up. Like, I'm trying to think of the way they came up. Like, I think they used the wrong word. Because self-serving, like, it doesn't fit. According to Google, that's not egotistical.
Dude, he's probably into the podcast.
You just have to Google search, dude.
I don't want to blast. That's not what the podcast is about. The podcast is not about blasting individuals.
How would I define it?
But
I mean, it really depends on the person, I think, or the way they come across, because I don't think there's a right definition for it. Like, no, there is a right definition, of course, of what confidence is and egotistical. Like, if we Google it, there's going to be a definition for it. But like I'm gonna use the bodybuilder, that Nick Walker. People consider him overconfident, but at some point he was just beating everybody, and people were like, okay, the guy is confident. Like, he's proving everything that he set out to do. So he cannot be overconfident. The guy's confident in his abilities. So you wouldn't be. I wouldn't know where's the fine line personally. Like, at what point?
Well, I would. Well, let's go at this. Besides myself, obviously, have you ever met a person that you deem to be confident?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
And what are characteristics of the person that you deem to be confident?
Like other characteristics?
Yeah. Like, what would you say about the person that you saw that made you believe that they're confident in themselves?
Well, the amount of effort they put in, the amount of work they were put in. They were not playing around. Yeah, they were driven, dedicated, disciplined. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, like they were putting in the work at the end of the day. Because I think the way you're using confidence, because I think I kind of get it now where they were going from their perspective is like, you're not making your girl jealous because you're so confident that she will never do anything. Which, isn't that like healthy? This is annoying me. No, because
dude. Well, that was one specific individual, and I believe he wanted to mention that, but he didn't during our conversation. So this is just me inserting thoughts into another individual's head.
That's the only way it makes sense,
which might not be true, right? But it's the only thing that I can point to out of all the conversations that me and this person has had.
Yeah.
Why he would think something like that, right? Because he has, mentioned before that he would give criticisms about whatever thing I got going on, and that I would always respond to him in some type of manner, like a question or a response or an answer or whatever. And I told him, well, I gave him an example, but I won't use his vehicle as an example. What car do you drive? You drive a Honda Accord. Is it a Sport? What kind of car is it? Is it a Sport? What kind of, okay, Honda Accord Sport. A Honda Accord Sport. What year? 2018, right? So if you were to ask me, hey Sam, what do you think about my Honda Accord Sport? And I would tell you, well, I think the year model of the vehicle you picked wasn't the smartest. Had you had chosen a 2020, the 2020s essentially drive like a Grand Touring, which is the highest trim level of an Accord. Now, that you would have been a lot smarter decision. Now, is my response egotistical, or is my response an answer to your question?
It's not egotistical. Because that's not the definition of egotistic. That's what I'm confused by. This is not the definition.
That's why I was kind of confused as well. And I even went through this whole little process. Like, I called my mom and I asked her, "Am I egotistical?" What? You know what my mom said? She said, "Yeah." I was like, "What?" And she was like, "Yeah, you are egotistical." I'm like, "What do you mean?" She's like, because she was like, that it's not what I say, it's how I say it.
That confuses me.
And I'm like,
nah, bro.
I mean, I understand that. I understand to a point, right? Like, if you want to convince someone to maybe go to the gym, you shouldn't tell them, hey, you're a fucking fat lard. You need to get the fuck up and go do your shit, right? You should probably go, well, I think you should probably be a little more
that doesn't work either.
Health conscious. And but they're mincing words, and they don't really want to talk about the subject at hand. and they don't want to talk about the subject at hand and with a point of honesty about how they really feel about something.
Now you just set me off by using the word. What was the word you used? You used it's not the way. It's not what you say. It's the way you say it. Because I was told, and this is gonna piss me off, bro. I was told that I'm too direct, I'm too matter of fact, and I have to watch what I say and the way I say it. That's what I was told. No. That's what I was told. Now, this person said, that pissed me off so much, bro. Because I'm like, look, I would admit, and something I'm trying to improve on is my vocabulary, because I would agree that because I don't have the widest vocabulary, sometimes I may say things here. I am struggling saying the thing. I may not be able to, I don't know the best way to say something or the most effective way of saying something. And I may add words that don't have to be added. Whatever. Okay. I'm like, okay, you know what? Maybe I should watch my words, and I agree with you. In that sense, I think I should watch my words. But I think being direct, I'm being direct with you.
Dude, I personally feel like someone... So here's the weird thing, right? Is that I am never bothered, me personally, and I can't speak to a lot of other people, right? I am never bothered by another person's confidence. It doesn't bother me. Someone else's confidence and their self-assuredness or whatever never bothers me. Only thing that really bothers me if they say something stupid. I'm like, bro, I don't care how confident you are. You're fucking dumb. But outside of that, someone's confidence never plays a big factor in how I feel towards them.
Plus, if
okay, yeah. So here's my follow-up to it, right? Do you think that a person's confidence can be mistaken for arrogance because the person that's receiving the confidence, their filter for confidence is so low that it comes across as
arrogance, self-serving? If you're gonna throw another word, I don't know about egotistical, because egotistical, that word, man, let's ignore egotistical because it's not. They use it wrong.
Yeah, these guys are not
I think
vocabulary masters or linguists or whatever.
Overconfidence, arrogance. I think all of those things, all those traits, can be misunderstood in a person.
Dude, but I even let's do a bit of a favor and let's say overconfidence, right? The issue that I was coming across when these people, when they were giving me this intervention, was I would cross-examine their accusations, and they didn't like, or it came across to me as if they didn't like the cross-examination of their questions. So I would they'll go, yeah, dude, you just walk around like this. I'm like, can you give me an example of this? Well, I'm just telling you what everyone sees. Okay, well, who saw it? And they go, well, and then and the thing is, the situation will go around in circles, right? So now, here's a great example, right? At one point during one of our dates, they were talking about getting women, right? And guys banter amongst themselves differently than we would amongst our significant others. So we have this one coworker that he wants oh God, look at this bitch I got, 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 right? And he'll be like, oh, you don't get bitches or whatever, some stupid stuff. And I would tell him, dude, if I was single, I would run your ass, right? But this is banter. Like, I'm not really to me, this is banter.
I get it.
To them is different. To them is me saying I'm better than you. Yeah, but to me, it's banter. Like, fuck out here. Like, you're not.
It's banter. I mean, it's regular shit
like that, right? And then there's a 6 foot tall guy there. I was like, man, if I was 6 feet tall, I'd be a fucking demon. A demon. It's clearly a joke.
It's a joke. I'm seeing it as a joke right now.
It's clearly a joke that I'm saying. Me. Yeah, and they took it as that I and I am scared of being alone. I am scared of being alone, one. And two, it's one of my reasons why I have not committed to marry my girl. I'm like, what the
You're
fuck
scared
are
of
they
being alone,
talking
and that's
about?
why you have not committed. But that makes no sense. Now you're contradicting, because if you're scared of being alone,
that's what I'm saying, and that's what I'm telling them. I'm like, well, but what about, like, firstly, what have I said seriously when I was just being completely serious, no banter, no jokes or whatever? There was anything
right.
that would even relate to something like that? Oh, and then they'll say something like, oh, one of the individuals, not the guy I'm really close to, he had mentioned, oh, if you had mentioned that if you had the chance, you can definitely get someone better than your girl. And I was like, what? I have never, ever in my whole entire relationship have that sentence has never come out of my mouth. And he was like, well, you basically allude to it when you talk about that you can get other women or this and that and stuff like that. And I was telling him, I'm joking.
That annoys me.
I'm bantering.
I'm annoyed.
Yeah, I'm
annoyed
I'm just fucking with you. Like, I'm not seriously about to go down the street and go fuck around. Like, that's not what I have. Am I going down the street and fucking around? No, I'm not doing that. And I was like, two, if anything, my girl can probably do better than me. She could get a 6-foot demon besides myself, right? And this whole commitment to my girlfriend and us getting married and whatnot. I'm like, I'm only one amongst all three of us is probably doing the right things to get married to the person I want to be with. And they're like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, well, in the last 5 years, have either one of you guys lived with the girl you guys are with? Well, yeah. I'm like, well, you live with your girlfriend. One of you guys lived with your girlfriend. You just left this place and, you live with your girlfriend. You was over there, right? Well, yeah. I'm like, do you know that you are 50% more likely to get divorced if you live with a person before you guys get married? He was like, well, no, I didn't really know that. I'm like, well, do you know that's one of the first things I told my girl, and that I don't want to live with her just because say when we get married, we maximize our chance of sustaining our marriage. Well, no, but you just and this is the funny part. This is where I knew I was listening to people that weren't really talking clearly enough to understand where their logic ends. Then he said, actions will then dictate whether you're telling the truth or not. And I go, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, you didn't correct anything you said before previously. All you did was basically regurgitate the exact same things. And I was like, whatever. Right? Because we had been talking about this subject for a little bit. And I'm like, well, how's that any different from your accusation? What do you mean? I'm like, well, you made an accusation that I'm scared of commitment or something, or I'm scared of being alone or something because I'm pushing back me getting married, or I think I can get a better girl than my current girlfriend or whatever. And I was like, well, I just proved to you that I made steps to make sure we get married. He's like, yeah, but those are just words. I'm like, so is your accusation. And he was like, yeah, but you didn't correct what I said. I'm like, dude, if you can make an accusation, I can just say something that's opposite of that, and that's basically the same thing. You just threw an accusation up in the air and hoping it sticks and lands as if you're right.
To me, it sounds like they just don't have a reason behind the things that they do. And when you give them any amount of pushback, they just cannot handle someone having a response. So, for example, I'm going to use the car example you gave me, right? If I were to go up to you and I said, okay, this is the car that I got. What do you think? And you responded, well, I think you should have waited for what I want. Then I should be able to have a response to that because I made the decision to get the car. So I should be able to say, well, okay, this is the thing. This is how I got the car. This is the price that I got the car. This is the mileage that this car got the car.
Or even situational, like, dude, I was in a situation where I really needed a car right now and I didn't have that much money. That makes everything I just said
look, I got this car. I got this car for, I forgot for how much I got. I got this car for $18,000. $18,000? Yeah, $18,000. I think it has 17 miles. Yeah. I got it for 17,000 miles. Let me see. Yeah, it was low.
What? 18,000?
No. So the way I got it was salvaged. So the way it works is that the guy, yeah. You got the option, so you get a discount. But what I'm saying is that I should be able to have a response to your response. So like, okay, that makes sense, Sam. But like, this is why I got it in 2018, and I keep the details. So I have a reasoning for my actions. To them, it's just they don't have a reasoning to their actions. So when you give them the pushback, they're like, "Oh, he thinks he knows it all." Yeah.
I mean, and that's basically what they, dude. That's basically what they was trying to. Like, every time I try to like. Because obviously to them, it's coming across like I'm being defensive, right? And in my viewpoint is like, you guys
they don't make any sense.
Any sense, which to their point is, well, you kind of just want to shove the fact that you're right down.
Yeah, that's not the case.
Like it's but it's not. I know it's not the case. But the thing is, you at that situation with their logic, it becomes a circular problem where me making sense makes them have an argument that me trying to make sense is the issue in the first place. It becomes a circular issue for them. To me, it's direct and forward, but for them,
plus you have the confidence
is a whole different thing
on what you're saying, and for them, it comes off as arrogance. So it's all in their perspective, but it's so dumb to me. Like the fact that you were just playing around. That's one of my biggest pet peeves.
But okay, but you worked with me for a while, right? Like we worked with each other for a couple of years. I'm not sure when we worked at not the first place we worked out together, the second place. There was words exchanged about my personality. I think also at the first place as well. I don't want to name both places we worked out together, but. So, what were common things that were mentioned about me? If you remember any of them?
Arrogance, knows it all.
Now, my question to you is this: what do you think about me is making these people feel this way that often? Is it actually how I am, or is it a mixture of both? Two things?
Maybe how you are, but I think it's just that people are just not used to being questioned about the things that they do, and for someone to have an actual thought out response and someone to break it down for them, right? Because if we use the examples you just used, right, you had a thought process and a reason for all the things that you did. They didn't. They were just talking, like you just said. They were just talking. They were just saying things. So for them, they're like, "Oh, this guy thinks he knows it all." But they don't, because they don't think about the things that they do. So I don't think it's maybe it's you. Okay, it has to be you. Is the way you come across is because they're not used to that. They're not used to someone. They're not used to dealing with someone that carries himself the way you do. So it's just off for them. It's like you have a plan and you have a plan. They don't, and that freaks them out a little.
Do you believe that I should calm down this Riz? You think maybe I just got too much fucking Riz, and they're like, man, this guy's Riz the fuck up. We gotta.
Basically, you're asking me if you
know what I mean?
You
if I should just calm it down a little bit. Dude, like for example, I started working at I started working at this job. For the most part, it's a great company. There's some solid individuals there, right? And I would even say one of the individuals in the discussion I'm talking about, he's a pretty solid guy. Day two of me being there, I performed at a level a lot of people weren't ready for me to perform at. Right. And after that, it was the first time I heard a comment about myself. And it was from someone that I was talking to at the time. Like, we was pretty cool. We both knew at the same time. So we were trying to just vibe to each other. Hey, bro, you're new, I'm new. And he came to me and told me, hey, man, some of those guys don't like you because you come across as a know-it-all. And I was like, okay, well, I told him straight up, like, I don't even care who it was.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even care who said it. Like, I don't care. Right. Like, you know, let that person do what the fuck they got to do. I don't give a fuck. And later on, that same individual then told one of the individuals that I'm speaking about now, that he never liked me off the jump. I was like, what the fuck is this?
Like,
yeah, dude. And I was like, yeah. But that person before I was aware that he didn't like me or whatever, I had invited him over to my place. And he knew for a week that he wasn't going to come over. And he told one of the other guys that he wasn't going to come over. And I had to find out from the other guy that, he never planned to come over in the first place. Because he didn't like you in the first place. That he just kept saying yes for the longest time just because, but that he doesn't really want to go to your place in the first place. I thought, that's cool. I mean, that's fine. I just won't associate with a guy like that. Since then, I haven't talked to him at all. But since then, I guess the hatred he has towards me has just grown. I'm like, it's like, dude, I just don't associate. Yeah, I just don't associate with you. Like, me personally, I think a man that not only can't keep his word, because it's one thing to, like, things happen. You can't show up somewhere. I'm not holding a gun to your head, but it's another thing. It's another thing to plan to not show, and then wait to not show, and then the time of, think of an excuse instead of just telling me, hey, bro, I don't think I'll make it.
It's not a big,
Like, to me, that is more egotistical. That is self-serving. Is that not? That is more self-serving, because he waited on his own time to do whatever he wanted. He at that point, he only cared about himself, and even though he was giving me nuggets of information about other people, it was only what I would imagine. It was only so I would say something so he could bring those nuggets of what I said back to other people in the first place. And then I don't associate myself with that person anymore. And that person believes that me not associating myself with that person anymore is because I guess I just some type of dislike towards them or whatever, and then uses that as fuel to then say further things about myself.
Because to me, one of the most important things that a man can have is his word. That's just me. I think if you don't have that, I agree. Giving your word to someone, it holds you accountable, right? It shows responsibility. It shows character, who you are as a person. That tells me a lot. Like, when someone just throws their word around, it just doesn't mean anything, right? So I'm really, really careful when I give it to somebody, because whenever I tell my girl, like, hey, listen, if I give you my word, I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna do it. Right, so you never have to doubt my word or whatever. So that speaks volumes already of that person. I don't know. Seems like whack, but I don't.
And that's what I said. And that's what I said. That's the one first thing I'm like, dude, I don't associate with people like that, because that person eventually becomes a poison, and their actions, regardless of how you think, how impervious you are to other people's actions, the more you're around someone that doesn't keep their word, the more you start to realize that it's okay to not keep your word.
I don't
and I don't want to be that guy.
I don't think if you should change the way you are, like the way you thought about it. Maybe you should tone it down. I don't think you should tone it down, because the reality is, if you were to tone it down, maybe that person will try to be in your life, but it's just an arbiter. Like, it's just a toxic personality that now your personality is able to sponge it away, and he's no longer available. Maybe to certain people, hold it down, like, because my girl, okay, I'm gonna put her on the spot. She thought that because I wasn't as direct before, I used to kind of like watch the things that I said, just like she wanted. But then she's like, no, I want you to be more direct. And I was just completely straightforward. And I was like, well, you're too direct. You're too matter of fact. Like, look, you can't get both. You gotta get one. And I like the other one, the more direct, because there's no like misconception. There's no like misunderstanding or whatever. Now I understand that maybe
there's no misunderstanding.
Only for our girls we can soften some things, soften the edges a little. But everybody else can just get the freaking stings, you know what I mean? Just hate. That is weird. Yeah. I don't know. Those people, that thing pisses me off when like you can't joke with people because everything is so serious. I hate that. Hate that with a passion, especially with my personality. Because I joke a lot. I talk a lot of smack, right? I say things that I don't even mean.
And so one guy. So here's the difference. One guy, I'll take his criticism more to heart. The other guy is like it's not that he's younger than me. It's just the comments that he says. For example, he says this
giving you a headache.
And this quote, this is quote verbatim, because I had to hold myself back, because I was like, at one point I'm like, dude, if I just keep arguing this point around, they're just gonna keep thinking that. So at one point he was like, well, how old are you, dude? And I was like, 27. He was like, yeah, man. And guess what? I'm 21 and I'm just as smart as you. I don't read as much as you do. I don't research as much as you do. But I've lived more than you have. And I was like, based off of what? Based off anything I have ever said, how did you come up to that conclusion? Like I was just running through my head out, and I was like, all right, bro. Yo, bro, the lights are being turned off in the office. We need to go home.
This guy said, I'm 21 and I'm smart than you, and I've lived more than you. That's
No. It would be one thing to say he's smarter than me. He said, I'm just as smart as you because I've lived more. Well, mathematically speaking, I was one, right? And it's like, and he's like, this is why I'm able to have these debates with you. And I was in my head like,
debates. This is debate.
Did you hear my dog?
Yeah, research more than you.
He
said, I don't research as much as you.
I don't research more than you. I don't read as much as you. But I've lived more than you.
Okay, I don't know, bro. This is your sales pitch for me to move to Texas? Because so far, bro, you and Veronica are doing a horrible job. She freaking showed me this place. It looked like a freaking jail cell. And then she was like, look at the beautiful weather. And it's fucking cloudy.
Texas is nice.
Horrible.
Texas is nice. I'm not gonna lie.
No.
Some of the people are. I will say this: some of the men. I will say this: Texas men lack confidence.
Yeah.
Comparatively to New York, the like average confidence in Texas is a bit lower.
Wait.
But the thing is, and here's the weirdest thing about it, is that the people that lack confidence will do the most not ridiculous, because it's not really ridiculous. They would do or wear something that's questionable in looks. Like it's not a very popular look. And if you point at it, it's like, dude, why are you bullying?
Christ.
And it's like, well, dude, if you was confident in what you were wearing in the first place, it's like.
Do you think it has to do with them being complacent?
A lot of people get upset. A lot of people get upset when I say I'm never going to dress like a cowboy. Well, come on, Sam, you gonna dress like a cowboy one of these days?
That's the first thing I'm like,
dude, that's never gonna happen. I mean, maybe for Halloween, I'll go maybe for Halloween, and all their faces go.
You knew it. That. Yo, that's the first thing I'm doing when I go to Texas. I'm gonna fucking grab a hat, a big old cowboy boots, and get a horse. And I'm gonna hang out with you the whole day.
But I don't know, dude. I'm not sure. Okay, I'm not sure if it's just me. Okay, let me just answer me this. And this is the final question, and we're gonna wrap up the podcast. We're already running on 40 minutes, and this is still a work week for me. My bosses were listening to music inside the office, right? Both these gentlemen are 40 something, like 40 something and 50 respectively. And they were playing like oldies, like oldie but goldie music. And I had said to them, because one of our managers, people are scared shitless of this guy. And to me, I'm like, I don't really understand why. So I walk in there. He has a really good poker face. He's just like this. Everything doesn't move, doesn't whatever. And I was just listening to the music, and it's quiet as hell besides the music. I just look at them because they start talking about the music, and I was like, man, Every time I come in here, it's like you guys trying to have an old man off. Solid joke. He looks at me. He keeps a straight face. If I look at him, I'll keep a straight face.
Yo, bro.
and you know what he ends up doing, bro? He ends up laughing. He ends up dying laughing. He ends up laughing, and so does the other guy. The other guy ends up laughing. But the thing is, no one else there besides people that's worked with them for like a year, like years, is able to break the ice that way. And I'm looking at like, dude, this guy is just a man. He is your boss, but this guy is just a man. Sure, can I like? Can he not like me after? Sure. Or I can make him laugh, and he might like me more.
Yo, it's crazy you said that because it's like, I'm not gonna lie to you. There have been times where I'm saying jokes, and people around me look at me like, "Oh my God, Jose! Like, why did you say that?" Because let me tell you something that happened. We went out to this race room, like with the bats and shit, and you get to break stuff. And whatever, I was gonna use my card, and they want to send me the money because whatever. So that's what we're gonna do it. I go, pay, and then there's a pop-up that shows nowadays where it tells you like 15%, 30%, and 40% like tips. And I look at the tip, and I look at the tip, and it's like, bro, it's like $30 tip, and it's only like 10% or something like that. I forgot. I look at the lady, I look at the tip, I look at the lady, I look at the tip, I look at the boss, I look at the tip, and I go like, God damn, you guys didn't do anything. Bro.
Tax for this tip.
Bro, and they kind of looked at me with a straight face. Yeah. My friends are like, and I'm like, that was pretty funny. And they all start laughing. And I'm like, okay, see, they're cool, we're cool. I gave them that 10% tip. I'm like, fuck it. That was worth it.
Yeah. Personality. I tip you for like, at least laughing at my jokes.
Like, goddamn.
$30.
But sometimes, bro, when I'm at work, I just be saying some like fucked up shit. And they look at me like, Jose, you can't be saying that. And I'm like, why not? It's like, because they're your boss. And I'm like, yeah, but like, this is my second job, so I don't really care.
Yeah, dude. I be saying some fucked up shit too. Like,
oh, bro. Let me tell you another one.
I hit you with one, you hit me with one, and we'll wrap it up, right? Like, one of my favorite kind of jokes to do is like,
oh my God, that's where I was going.
Racist. I was like, dude, I have like, so I was in school, right? And I have this lily white teacher, like she's white, blonde hair, or whatever, right? And I kind of made my mission to make her turn red like every fucking day, just because. Like, I'll think of some, like during work, I'll think of some ridiculous thing to say when I got over there, right? So one of these days, I'm thinking, what's really gonna like get to her, right? And I was like, oh, she's white, racist. They love that shit, right? So I was like, Miss, what do you think about racism? She's like, it's awful. I don't understand why people are this and that, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, but what about like a good racist? You think a good racist could exist? And she's like, and she's like, no, there's no such thing as good racism. So I go, well, miss, let's say you were going in jail for murder, like you killed someone, right? Mm-hmm. Let's say you actually did it. Now, let me ask you a question, sir. I mean, ma'am, if Tyrone was sitting there asking to be a lawyer, and you have two choices. One person's last name is like, or his first name is Tyrone. The other person's last name is Shapiro. Who do you pick? And the thing about it is that the obvious choice is the Jewish person to be a lawyer, right? So I'm like, well, miss. I don't think you understand what I mean. I'm a good kind of racist person. She goes, what do you mean? I'm like, if I go to a Chinese buffet, I don't want to see a whole bunch of whites in the back working. I want that shit authentic, I want it authentic. If I go to get some halal food,
that's what I'm saying.
If I go to get some halal food, I want their women to look like they're repressed. That adds all the flavor to the food. I'm like, imagine Tom making your fucking taco. You want Tom to make a taco, or you want fucking Consuela?
That's what the fuck I'm saying.
That's all I'm saying, bro. That's all I'm saying, bro. Bro, this is all I'm saying, bro. Is if I want to cross the border, I'm not going to search for Asians.
Yo, I've been saying the same shit at work. I tell all my coworkers, I'm like, yo, if I go to a taco place, I only want to see Mexicans. But continue.
But I said, like, miss, if I went to fucking Harvard for a basketball game, and there's 20 people in front of me, I get first pick. 19 of them are white. One person's black. Guess who I'm picking first in basketball? Guess. Every fucking time.
She finally said it?
I'm like, dude. And then she's fucking right. She was laughing the entire time. She was fucking rolling. And everybody's like, dude, what the fuck is wrong with you? I'm like, dude, we're in class. I'm like, I don't care.
Bro, I went up to my supervisor. Keep in mind, this is like the head of everybody. Mm-hmm. And she's looking at some leather pants. It's my second job. Mm-hmm. And it's some like, I don't know, there's some weird leather looking jeans, jeggings, whatever the fuck. And I look at her and she goes, oh, this would look great on me. And I look at them. I'm like, I have never seen a single respectable woman wear those. And everybody looked at me like, Jose, they're going to cut you hours. And I'm like, I'm going to cut this ass first.
She better get this first.
Coming with fucking heels. She looks like a quarterback on heels.
Dude, I used to love doing that shit to my brothers, bro. When it used to piss me off, like, bro, I'm gonna beat you up. Oh, I'm gonna call mom. Well, guess how far mom is? 2 minutes. You're gonna get 2 minutes of hell before mom gets here. You better hope 2 minutes, right? But I hope you can take 2 minutes.
Oh shit,
bro. Oh my god, I love that kind of shit, bro. This has been a good podcast, man. I think I think the conclusion to it is that some people just don't listen to them. Dude, if you're egotistical, don't listen to them.
I don't know, just be an egotistical maniac.
Yeah, dude, fuck it, bro. I mean, some people just make it like that. This has been Lidat. We appreciate it. We appreciate you watching this. If you have made it this far, make sure you like, subscribe, share. We have going up in subscribers. We hope to hit 200 by the end of the month. That is the goal. Love you guys. Any closing statements?
My house.
Hey, bro, move to Texas, bro.
But I have to, Jesus.
All right, guys. We talk to you guys. Peace out.